All right, guys, Shotty T here. We got another video. We got another week, another versus cycle, and we're going to be talking about versus this week. There are some changes. Some of them I will highlight in this video, and because of that, I think it's a good time to do like another refresher on the versus objectives. So that's going to be the main thing I'm going to talk about today. But I am also going to, at the same time, talk about what is new this week. So we'll start with the latter first. So the gorilla. Now, for those that are not, again, I don't know if this is a season 2 transition to season 3 type of thing, or if this is for everyone. So I always have to use that disclaimer. Check your timeline. That's where we are right now. So the Overlord has been fed completely. So now there are ways to train and upgrade him. So what you do, you have these little, these little battle data type things you use to level him up. However, you want to hold off on that, and I will tell you why. But there are different things that you can use to upgrade him. Now, some of the stuff can be purchased in the weekly pass, which of course I've done. But let's see. So you have these things here to Overlord's bond rating. Then you have these to upgrade the Overlord specialized training level. And you have these, as you saw in that prior clip there. So you want to hold off on that, though. Here's why. There's a new objective for Versus, and that takes place on day 5. So day 5, and we'll talk about all these in more detail when we get there. Use Overlord promotion shard of any type, 25,000 per shard. So that's very pricey there. Use 100 Overlord training guidebooks. Use a Overlord training certificate. Use 1 Overlord bond badge and a skill badge. So all this stuff regarding the Overlord is for day 5. So this is for the day that you train your troops. So this is not the same day that you do for training heroes. That's a totally different, that's unchanged. So let's go back to day 1. All right, let's look at the objectives just to kind of do a refresher for those that either are new to the game or those that might have been on the game and probably saw some updates, but not all of them, because there were some day 1 changes over time as well, if like compared to my initial video when I did these series. So look at the first one. Pretty basic. Use stamina. So basically attacking another base, rallying a Doom Elite, attacking a zombie. That's pretty straightforward. So you can just do these all day. So whenever you're online, you just want to be running rallies with as much stamina that you have. There is free stamina that the game does give you every 4 hours. If you have the engineer profession, it's a little bit more. I don't have that, unfortunately. And of course, you can always buy more stamina with diamonds, but it does scale in price the higher you go up. Fortunately, I haven't had to buy stamina in quite some time. Stamina is much easier to come by for free nowadays, especially if you're in an alliance that do a lot of treasure digs. Even I don't think I've been as successful in treasure digs lately because we got some fast fingers over here. So that's pretty straightforward. Use stamina, get points, and you'll see it increase while this video is going on. You'll see the meter move at the top of the screen. As a matter of fact, you're going to see it. There it is. So it barely moved, but because it's quite a while to get to that next level. All right, complete a radar task. Pretty straightforward. You just hit a radar task and the points. Every time something increases points-wise, you'll see that meter at the top. Because that's something that the game probably implemented a couple of months ago. So that way you know exactly what you're doing is actually a part of what you're supposed to be doing objective-wise. So go ahead and get that. And the thing about the radar tasks, some of these radar tasks also uses stamina, such as helping out another teammate. So you kind of get double credit for that. So make sure you take advantage of that. All right, next, use at least 660 hero points. Now, this one's a little tricky because you also have this same objective on day 4. So preferably you want to use it for day 4. It's the same credit, 2.5 points. at a time. So that's when I would hold off unless you're in a very competitive day one, because sometimes that 1 point difference could make the whole week, because the team that wins day one gets 1 point, but every other day is a even amount of points. So sometimes that odd numbered day makes a difference in the whole week. So that's kind of like a break glass in case of emergency type of thing. But for the most part, you want to avoid using EXP on day one. Use one drone battle data point. So that's these things here. Let's see if I can find it. It's somewhere. Everything is moved so much. Maybe it's all the way down here. Nope. There it is. So these things here. So as you see, I got a lot of these. A lot of these were pretty much bottlenecked for a while because of drone parts. So I'm gonna hold off on using those. I'm not gonna show that in this video. Why? Because we have drone boost, which is gonna come in about 2 hours from now, where I'm gonna get double credit for using that. So you always want to keep that in mind whenever you have a day where you have a certain first objective. See what arms race has that same objective so you can get double credit for it. You don't want to waste effort. So that's why I'm waiting to use the drone boost part. All right. Next, you have drone parts. So drone parts are only used every threshold, every 5 levels. And that's what I spent probably like the past couple of months upgrading my drone to level 140. But now that it's there, I don't have to worry about another threshold until 145. So this is where you use the battle data. You just hit the data training button and you just keep going. You may run out of battle data in some cases because those to get between one level takes a lot. As you can see, it's 2 million to get to the next level. I got 13 million, so I should be able to get to 145. But then I will also end up having I'm going to end up having another roadblock when I get to the drone parts. Last time it took 800 per segment to get to the next level, so I imagine it's going to take 900 per segment. And right now, I don't have enough to get to the next segment. I got 723, so it's going to be another long period of waiting before I get to that drone part level. All right, so let's continue. What else we got? Buy packs. So anytime you buy stuff, you get some diamonds, but it's not that, it doesn't make that big of a difference. You can spend a lot of money on day one. You're still not gonna open all boxes. So you want to do the simple stuff that's free to do. So you want to avoid that. All right, the next three are pretty important. So this can make a difference sometimes, believe it or not. Gather 100 food, gather 100 iron, gather 60 coins. All of these are gathered at the same ratio. So whenever you plot level 10 resource, I'm just going to show you, for example. So you got level 10. Let's see. Let's say level 10 gold mine is 302,000 coins. A level 10 farmland is 500,000 food. Level 10 iron mine is 500,000. So they're at that exact ratio. So they're designed to be gathered all at the same time, but they're gathered at like a 1:1.6 ratio. So anytime that you are not on the game, like if you're going to bed, especially on Sunday when you're about to start day one, you want to start harvesting stuff so that way once day one start you can collect, because this only gives you points once the gathering is completed. Okay, so, and it looks like the radar gathering tasks, they took that loophole out, because they used to be able to give you points for gathering food during radar tasks. So they put that in parentheses. That used to not be the case. So they did make that update. So throughout the day, when you're not online, make sure you're gathering food. But before the day is over, make sure that whatever you're gathering, make sure you pull your troops from that resource before the time runs out for the day. So there's still 13 hours left in today. So if you have because it gives you an idea of the estimated time that it takes to gather. So let's just use one for example. So if I want to march this troop there, it says expected finish time at 15:28, which is 3:28 p.m. Eastern. I know reset for me is always at 2100. So as long as this stuff finished before 2100, you can just march them out there and let them gather, and they'll march back on their own. But if it's expected to finish after reset, then you have to manually pull them back, or just find a lower level resource that is going to fit that time. So if I wanted a resource that can finish in like 4 hours, then I would just choose a lesser resource such as this. So that other one, or you might see some ones that are partially gathered. I'm not gonna go to that. Let's try one that has full capacity. Okay, so this one, it takes 4 hours and 29 minutes to gather. So so each level, the higher the level, the more gathering time. So you kind of, if you're working, if you got lunchtime, try to pace it to where you're gathering stuff that'll be gathered while you're at work, and then when you're at lunch, you can refresh your gathering. Use your stamina as well. So you kind of have to do a little bit of multitasking, and then you can collect at the end of the day. All right, and then lastly, chip chests. Now I've already opened these earlier. I think I've already opened all of these. But of course, these are things that can be gathered in the Alliance store. And speaking of which, that goes to my next transition. The Alliance store has updated with these bond badges as well, and the Overlord shards. So these are the shards they were talking about. So I went ahead and purchased that. The campaign store has also got some training certificates and some training guide books, as well as the Overlord skill badge. So I purposely saved that just to show you guys there. And you can get a bond badge in the VIP store for 3,000 diamonds. That's pretty expensive, but apparently these things are useful, so I'm gonna buy that, as well as more training guide books for 6,000. So those are all the changes in the stores. The regular diamond store, I don't think has made any changes. Nope. The honor store, again, you want to focus on blueprint, but luckily they haven't added that stuff in that store. And yeah, so those are the main changes to that store there. So the drone parts, though, once you do that, you combine them, and I'll talk about that in more detail because I think someone wanted a better explanation of how to use the drone stuff. So we'll have that in a separate video because this video has already gone long enough. So there's your recap of day one versus. When you're in a competitive league like we are, day one can sometimes make or break a week. Last week we lost day one, but ended up winning the last 6 days, so it ended up not mattering. But this week we got a pretty stiff competition. We got an opponent that's just as strong as us. And by the way, I have changed alliances, by the way. I'm no longer a leader. I decided to take a step back so I can focus on other things in the game and also outside of the game. I got a lot of stuff outside the game. So this is the new alliance that I'm in. A lot of the people that was in the alliance with me have migrated over. So it's not like I just bolted them for something better. We combined with another alliance to form this, mainly to be more competitive in this. So we'll see what happens this week. But anyway, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. There will be more to come on this when we get to that day. And also, we'll talk another thing tomorrow. All right. And you take care.